desirable to keep up the genetic system.
Hindi nga ako marunong saya. Hindi ka masyadong sasaya. Ate, Robert.
Ang tama.
Ay, sabi ko gusto mo yan. Hindi talaga ako nagsasayaw. Second time ko pa talaga sa tayo. Oo, first lang. Ay, ako na first. Nakaw ka na ako. Number niya rin. Oh my God!
Number one is always number two, set a goal. You gotta set a goal, because if you don't have a
Mas
goal,
gusto niya makakalimutan ako? Para hindi mo kayo nakakita? Hindi, mahirap kasi ito na pagkaharap ka sa inyo. Para na, girl! Sige, kung
you ask 9 out of 10 people told me what they're talking
hindi, ang hirap mo sa pagkakaharap. Ang hirap mo sa pagkakaharap. Mirror lang pagkakaharap.
Couple of blokes who I grew up with. They joined the Navy. Anyway, every year we have Expat Day, which is a celebration.
What is that?
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Maybe.
It was a war. It was a battle between Turkey.
Oh, where at?
It's on a beach called Gallipoli.
In Australia?
No, over in Turkey.
Oh, over in Turkey during World War
It
II?
was Australia and New Zealand.
Oh, okay. This was during World War II?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. The Turkish army or the Germans
Yeah.
were up on top of the hill,
Yeah.
and they landed on a wrong beach.
Oh.
All right. The English, we're supposed to land at a beach bloody 5 kilometres up.
Oh.
So
it was
the Germans were there waiting. They landed on the wrong beach, and they were just killing them. They had machine guns on top of the hill.
Oh my
Right?
God.
So anyway,
So that was because during World War II, were the Turks against the Germans? The Turkish people?
I'm not quite sure. No, I think Germany took over Turkey.
I think they did too, yeah. And so,
And that's what happened.
so you guys were trying to take that.
Yeah, we did. We eventually did, but many of us died, though. But so every year we have a celebration called Anzac Day.
Yeah.
Australia New Zealand Army Corps.
Okay, okay.
Right? So anyway, I ran into these couple that I grew up with, and like we're all out of the service now, you know.
Yeah.
And they were, I think one of them was a security guard in a prison, and he was complaining about his job, blah, blah, blah. And I said, what do you really want to do? What did you really want to do when you got out of the military, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to become this. I said, why the fuck are you doing a security guard for? Why don't you study for what you want to do?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he kind of lost sight of life.
They got angry with me because I was asking them, you know, it's just like, you know, mind your own business sort of thing. You're complaining about the job that you're doing now,
Yeah.
you know. Like I was saying, there's no goal.
Yeah. And when you don't have a goal, then what you do is you pick up what you can do or whatever is going to make some money for you, and then you identify with that shit. Now you're upset because you've identified with that shit and not doing what you want to do. And now you can't even quit because otherwise you lose your money.
Yeah, you know, and that's the problem. A lot of people complaining about the work they're doing,
Yeah.
but it's not what they want to do.
Not what they want to do.
You know,
I did that for, oh my God, I did that for 35 years, you know, working in pharmacy. I really didn't want to do it, but I'm glad I did. It was a lesson.
oh yeah, everything's a lesson in life, but
I didn't really have a purpose.
But you gotta, you know, there comes a time where you wake up to yourself. You wake up one morning and go,
Hopefully.
what am I doing?
A lot of people never wake up. And that's what happened to me was when I was basically when my ex-wife left,
Yeah.
I woke up.
Yeah.
That's when Stacy walked out the door. I was 54 and 2/3 years old. One more third of a year and I would have been 55. I didn't wake up until then, but then when I woke up, my life changed. So now I've been on this path for 16 years. 17 years.
Well, you know, everything in life is a lesson for you.
Sometimes you don't learn it.
Yeah, you know, like I said, jobs, relationships, everything. You know when you're with the wrong girl, you know.
Oh, you know right away when you're with
You wake up one morning and go, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
You know, I've done that several times, mate. But,
I did it with my ex-wife for, well, we were together for 35 years. And when she walked out the door, believe you me, I started vetting people. I said, hey, am I going to be able to get along with this person, even on a friendship basis? You know, and you can usually tell pretty close. If they're a friendly person, you're probably going to get along because everybody's got differences. But if their intention is something else, you'll figure it out right away. A lot of people are motivated by money, wealth, power, fame, status. What's in it for me?
the problem is people don't know what they want to do in life, what makes them happy.
They don't.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, like, I'm glad I grew up in Australia because we play all the sports.
Yeah.
We do a lot of outdoor stuff. So you know, hey, I like doing it. It's like golf. I play golf. I love golf. As soon as I picked up a golf club when I was 12 years old, love the game.
Yeah.
Alright, that's my passion. You know? And you know in yourself. You know, it's like when you meet the right person, you know in yourself. You know? And that's the same with everything in life. You know what you like and dislike.
Yeah.
You know? And you know straight away. You know? But a lot of people don't. A lot of people
They don't try anything new.
they don't listen to themselves.
Yeah. They're not authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you got to be authentic if you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, it's quite strange. A lot of people, especially in the Philippines, because they haven't got money.
Yeah.
Ay, bawal, bawal, bawal ka muna. Nakalive pa pala ako. Hello guys! Hello live! Sorry. Woo! I'm all sweat. Yeah. Hi, Burgos. Hi. Is that your wife? Yes, I am. Pinagpawisan ako na.
Okay guys, thank you very much. Hindi ko alam kung ilan ang nanood, but anyway, thank you for like and subscribe, watching here. Bye for now. See you later.